Well, 13 proved to be unlucky for Madder Maxx viewers, as this, the 13th show, is sadly the last of the series. But don't despair, we're definitely going out on a high. I'll be meeting up with off-road competition safari driver Dave Cotteral, and Sarah takes to the ovals for a ride in a two-seater Formula One stock car. In an earlier episode, Sarah looked at the sport of Icelandic off-road racing. Huge machines with long travel suspension and producing enormous amounts of power from their tuned V8 engines. Now, we may not have miles of volcanic rock to race across here in Britain, but we do have our own form of off-road racing, and it's no less exciting, the competitive safari. You won't find tigers or elephants on a competitive safari. Drivers compete a number of laps of a very demanding cross-country circuit up to 15 miles long. Competitors are allowed a certain amount of time to complete each lap, after which time penalties are incurred. The driver who completes the course in the least time is the winner. Let's meet up with competitive safari driver Dave Cotteral and find out what the sport is all about. Hi Dave.
Hi, how did you?
How on earth did you get into this sport?
I bought a Land Rover and wanted to play with it, so went and found a few friends who were into it and went from there really. I had a Range Rover first and then wrecked that and moved on to this.
What is it about this sport? I mean, it's quite spectacular. Not just the appearance of the cars, but you know, the actual racing. What is it about it that's just so attractive?
You get a bit of a buzz out of it, you know. And, I don't know, just adrenaline rush, I suppose.
Now the cars are substantial, to say the least.
Yes.
Is it a dangerous sport? Because I would imagine if you do have an accident, it can be quite spectacular.
Yeah, people get broken limbs and things sometimes, not very often. No one's been killed in the car yet. So.
I mean, do you ever get to the stage where you just think, ooh, hang on a minute, that's too fast or too tight? Or...
Yeah, you've got to push it to the limit and then come back a bit, like, you know, if it's getting a bit too hairy.
Have you ever had a big one?
No, not too bad. I hit a tree a couple of meetings ago, but it was the passenger side.
As you know, that's all right. Was there anyone sitting in it?
Yeah, my girlfriend. So.
Oh. Is she still your girlfriend?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, it can't have been that bad. Can you explain to us how the actual sport is structured, how a race day will be structured?
Yeah, you probably do 10 laps and you start at 10 o'clock and you've got till 4 in the afternoon to get your laps in. And it's up to you really when you do them. So you can do a lap and then have a break, or do them all in the morning or all in the afternoon. It's up to you.
Now you're saying you've been involved in the sport quite a long time. What's your record in terms of success?
I won the club championship last year and I'm leading it this year, so hopefully if all goes to plan I'll win it again this year. But I wanted to go on to the British Championship, but funds are a bit tight. So.
Is that where money comes into it?
Yeah, the racing are getting serious money then.
Now, you built this car?
Yes.
So can you take us through the construction of it? Because one of the things that struck me just now is there's a tax disc in the window, so it's actually road legal, which terrifies some people.
It's all home built. Built from scratch. It's not really based on anything. Rover engine, 4-wheel drive. Well, it was Jag diffs, and then I swapped to BMW because they were more reliable. 4.6 supercharged. So.
And what brake horsepower do you think that's putting out?
About 300 brake horsepower.
So it's not a cheap engine either?
No, it's 2 to the gallon type E.
Oof. Have you got any idea of 0 to 60 times or top ends or?
It's geared to do about 100 miles an hour flat out, which is all we ever really need. But 0 to 60, it gets on with it sort of thing. But I haven't ever timed it.
Fairly rapid though?
Yeah.
So in terms of, I mean, if someone wanted to come into this type of racing, how cheaply could they start off?
Very cheaply. You can buy an old Land Rover for 300 quid and you're racing really. Put a cage in it and safety belts and things.
And I suppose at the top is just a bottomless pit.
Yeah, you can spend as much as you like on it.
Well, you're going to show us what this car's can actually do in a minute, you and some of the other lads from the club, so we'll let you get sorted out and we'll...
All right, thank you.
Now when they rang me up and said, come and have a look at some competition safaris, I thought, what the hell is that? I had no idea what I was going to see, and I had no idea what it was all about. And what I found was a load of nutters in supercharged V8 engined 4-wheel drive beasts hammering around through forests on ground like this. Top men. After the break, Sarah goes for a blast in a Formula One stock car, and we'll take a look back at some of the highlights from this series.
Formula One stock cars have an intimidating presence that shout, "Get out of my way!" With 600 brake horsepower on tap from their tuned V8 engines, they reach speeds of up to 90 miles an hour on the small oval tracks in which they race. It takes a lot of skill and money to get involved with Formula One stock car racing, but a UK company has developed a way for the likes of you and me to experience what it's like to race in a Formula One stock car. Meet Ian Higgins, whose idea it was to develop the two-seater Formula One stock car. Now Ian, you're an F1 stock car driver and you're also a bit of a mastermind behind the two-seaters. Now you've supplied these today. What's the idea behind the two-seaters?
Well, as well as a promotional tool for stock cars, basically so Joe Public can get to feel what it's really like to be in a proper race car.
Now you run days as well, don't you, where say I could come along or anyone could come along and say, let me get in with you. Now how does that work?
Well, basically, we race at different stadiums throughout the country on pre-arranged dates, and people basically ring us, book in, cost them £50 a time, and then what we do is we have the two cars together on track over 10 laps, full contact, and it's the ultimate white knuckle ride, really. We run driving schools actually teaching people how to race the stock cars, because to race one you have to have a licence. Now, Joe Public can't just come straight in and get a licence. You have to prove that you can drive a car. So we use the two-seaters for that as well as other cars, and we basically hire cars out then as well. If somebody really enjoys it and they definitely want to have a go, then they can hire a car off us for a meeting, and we supply the mechanics and everything, and so they just basically come along, turn up, pay the money, and go out and mix it with the big boys.
Now, do you get a lot of people that actually want to go into racing?
Yeah, we do. I mean, I have two of our hire cars are booked up for the rest of this year. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of public interest. I mean, from all sorts. We've had solicitors, we've had doctors, we've had mechanics, you know, just a wide variety of people.
Have you ever had just one person that has been that boy racer that has done something really stupid to prove a point? You must have had fun.
Well, I suppose we've had one, but he was a strange lad, but he came along and he was going to show everybody how it was done. He came with his own race suit and his own helmet, and you know straight away when they arrive with their own helmet and race suit, you think, oh, here we go. So we told him everything that he had to do, yeah. And you can sort of see him not quite listening to you, you know, he was away in the clouds. And basically what it is, he came out the corner, put his foot flat to the floor, the car went left, right, bang, straight in the wall. And he was left with severely bruised ribs and a severely bruised ego.
So he was showing you how not to do it.
Exactly.
Enough of the chat, it's time to buckle in and take to the track. When they said that I was going to experience what it was like to race in a Formula 1 stock car, they meant it. Other drivers are on hand to nudge the cars from behind, just so you know exactly what it feels like. Stock car racing is an aggressive, maximum contact sport, so the cars are reinforced with a roll cage to protect the driver. The adrenaline rush, the sheer acceleration and the noise of this machine is incredible, and it's certainly like nothing I've ever experienced. Speed is the most important thing coming out of the corners, but it also multiplies the chances of spinning out of control. Well, if you can manage to blag yourself a ride in one of these on a Sunday if you're not doing anything, I'll tell you something, it's definitely worth it. It's one of the best things you can do, pure entertainment.
This series of Madder Maxx has left no stone unturned in its search for the very best alternative motorsport. We've seen top fuel drag racers to Icelandic madmen and national autograss champions. Early on, we met Formula 1 stock car racer Chris Lloyd. Unfortunately for him, his luck was out that day and he didn't fare too well. But he shrugged his shoulders and put it down to experience. Chris, we spoke to you earlier. It's been a bit of a hectic day and not as successful as you would have wished.
Just one of them things, I think. It's just not gone right at all today.
Just couldn't get in.
It was just a case of, it's such a big track and the way the smashes went off, it just didn't go right for me. I took the wrong way and ended up in the fence and just couldn't get going.
If you do have a bad day, how hard is it to bounce back? Or do you spend the week thinking, if I'd have done this, if I'd have done that?
I never really think at all, to be truthful. You've either got the luck on the day or you haven't. So you just take every day as it comes. At the end of the day, it's a sport that we all enjoy, and if you win, it's a bonus. If you lose, try again next time.
Sarah found that lawnmowers can cut it on the track when she met a bunch of people who preferred to let the grass grow long and go racing on a Saturday afternoon. mini motor racer Roy Hook showed us that in motorsport, size really doesn't matter. We took to the start line on the strip for a dose of top-fueled drag bike racing, and top-fueled drag star Barry Shevels explained what it takes to accelerate from 0 to 300 miles per hour in under 6 seconds.
When we hit the throttle, it's instant 4.5 to 5G. So basically, if you went to Alton Towers and got on every white knuckle ride at the same time, that's probably what it's going to feel like. The other way of describing it probably is to sit on the back of a missile and go for a ride.
We spent the day with autograss racer Dean Forward and his high-powered Screaming Beast as he took the Class 10 National Autograss Championship by storm. Well, let's see some of his autograsses in action! We found the desperate Dan of tractor pulling Brian Armistead and watched him go head-to-head in the alcohol-fueled and totally balmy sport of tractor pulling. Sarah met up with some mad Icelandics appearing in the UK for the first time as they took their off-road racing machines up near vertical climbs and even over water. Utter madness. At Shelsley Walsh, we met some of the racing aces of hill climbing. David Grace was powering to his 8th national title in his Benetton Formula One engine single-seater. Robin Brickles wasn't concerned with any jibes that he used as a skirt to go racing, as he took the flag first in the extremely fast and mad world of Formula One hovercraft racing. Well, sadly, we've run out of fuel for this series of Madder Maxx. We've seen some fantastic sport and met some brilliant people. But most importantly, we hope it's hit the spot with you. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon on Madder Maxx.